I won $7 million in the lottery, and as I was about to tell her, my wife handed me divorce papers. She had fallen in love with her boss. I gladly signed the papers and sent the evidence to his wife. Now my ex-wife is alone, jobless, ruined, and begging me for a share of my fortune. A chance she will never get.
We need to talk.
My wife's words hung in the air as I slipped the lottery ticket into my back pocket. $7 million. My heart was still pounding like crazy from confirming the numbers just 20 minutes earlier. Honey, I also have something amazing to tell you. I want a divorce, she interrupted. She handed me a manila folder. Everything is ready, I just need your signature. My world stopped. What? She continued. I fell in love with my boss. We've been together for 6 months. Her voice was cold, calculated. He can give me what you never could. A real life. Free from financial worries, free from your constant failures. My fingers brushed against the winning ticket. The irony hit me like a punch. I always knew you wouldn't amount to anything. He has vision, ambition. You're useless. She crossed her arms. Sign the papers. I've wasted enough time with a mediocrity like you. The ticket felt like fire in my pocket. I smiled for the first time in the conversation. You know what? You're right. I'll sign with great pleasure. I signed the papers with a smile that completely unnerved her. Perfect. So, we agree. Are you okay? For the first time in our entire discussion, her voice faltered. I've never been better. I folded the documents, trying to keep my hands from shaking. In fact, to properly close this chapter, how about we have dinner tonight? A civilized farewell. She was silent for a few seconds. She probably expected tears, pleas, some pathetic drama. My calm demeanor unsettled her. I don't know if that's a good idea. Come on, darling. I think you owe me that after all. You're the one who destroyed this years-long relationship, I said, struggling to stay calm. She remained silent for a few seconds. She probably expected tears, pleas, some pathetic drama. I wasn't going to stoop that low for the woman who betrayed me so callously. I pulled out my phone as if it were the most natural thing in the world and continued, How about our favorite restaurant? Arrogance returned to her eyes. She interpreted my suggestion as a complete surrender, an acceptance of my defeat. All right, at 8. As soon as she left the house, something broke and then rebuilt itself inside me. I had less than 6 hours to plan the show of my life. First, the evidence. Although I never checked her phone or social media, how naive I was, I opened my laptop without much hope of finding anything. But since she used it frequently, I decided to check, and by a stroke of luck, I found her WhatsApp session open. Screenshot after screenshot of conversations that turned my stomach. You make me feel what my mediocre husband never awakened in me, read a message from 3 weeks ago. I can't stand sharing a bed with him anymore. I only think of you. I found intimate photos they had sent each other. One in particular was my wife in lingerie from our bed on my birthday. The thought that she might have worn that lingerie with me was the final blow to my heart. But I couldn't succumb to these feelings yet. The irony was maddening. I had just lost the marriage I thought was perfect on the very day I became a millionaire. I searched on Facebook for the wife of my replacement, Carla Miller. We had met briefly at a company dinner organized by the firm where our spouses worked. Her photos showed a normal, happy family. A woman who had no idea her husband had been sleeping with my wife for months. I wrote to her directly without beating around the bush. Carla, it's Leo. I urgently need to speak with you about our spouses. Please come to the lookout tonight at 8 p.m., private room 3. It's important that you know the truth. I reserved the private room with a projector, but I also booked a table in the main dining area for 8:15 p.m. The intimate dinner with my wife would be the first act. Carla's arrival with her husband Richard would be the second. It cost $50, worth every penny when you have 7 million waiting for you. I organized the screenshots into a folder: date, time, content. A presentation that would shatter their world in 5 minutes. 2 hours later, my wife called me. Are you sure about dinner? We could always postpone it for another day.
Not at all, darling. Everything is already set. It will be a memorable night.
The word memorable felt perfect. Seriously, trust me. After tonight, everything will be different for all of us. I hung up and reviewed my plan once more. In 6 hours, she would go from being the woman who humiliated and betrayed me to a jobless, loveless divorcee with no chance of touching a single cent of my fortune. The winning ticket rested in my wallet, along with a copy of the signed divorce papers. 7 million reasons to celebrate that I didn't have to share my good luck with a viper. My phone buzzed with a message from Carla. I'll be there. I hope this isn't a cruel joke. It's no joke, I replied. Her world is about to change, but it will be for the better. Trust me. I arrived at the restaurant half an hour early. I set up the projector, ordered some appetizers, and practiced my speech. It had to be perfect, devastating, yet elegant. She arrived punctually, dressed in the most extravagant attire, adorned with jewelry I had never seen before. Her dress, even at a glance, looked expensive. She looked truly enchanting. If only she hadn't betrayed me. For the love I still felt for her, I might have let her go if that's what she truly wanted. But no. She chose to humiliate and betray me. Now she would pay for her actions, and she wouldn't even see it coming. She arrived promptly at 8, as always. She wore the black dress I bought her for our anniversary, but now it sparkled with jewels that definitely did not come from my salary. The diamond necklace, the earrings, the bracelet. All new, all expensive, all paid for by him. You look beautiful, I said as she sat down. It was true. She looked radiant, with the glow of a woman who believes she has just won life's lottery. Thanks. Her smile was genuine for the first time in months. You know, I thought you'd be more devastated. Why would I be? You said I deserve better. We ordered appetizers. She ordered lobster, of course. I ordered something simple. I wasn't very hungry anyway. Leo, she said after her first sip of wine, I want you to know this wasn't easy for me. I imagine.
Richard makes me feel alive, like I'm a real woman, not just your wife.
I clenched the napkin under the table. I'm glad you found what you were looking for. He has plans for us. We're going to travel, see Europe. He's going to introduce me to his social circle. Important, influential people. Sounds perfect. She leaned forward. You're really not angry? You know what? You're right about one thing. I do deserve better. I raised my glass. To new beginnings and unexpected endings. We clinked glasses. She drank, relaxing for the first time in our conversation. In fact, I said, pulling out the divorce papers, to officially close this chapter. I placed them on the table along with a pen. I've already signed. I just need your signature. For a second, she hesitated. Are you sure? Once I sign, there's no turning back. I've never been more certain of anything. She signed with a smile that bordered on relief, as if she were freeing herself from a burden. Perfect, I said, putting the papers away. And since we're being honest in closing chapters, I pulled out my phone and showed her a picture of the winning ticket. I have some news to share. This morning, just before our conversation about the divorce, I won $7 million in the lottery. The glass slipped from her hands. Red wine spilled across the table like blood. What? Her voice was barely a whisper. Irony of fate, don't you think? She froze, staring at my phone screen as if it were a hallucination. Are you kidding? As serious as the divorce papers you just signed. Her face cycled through 5 different expressions in 10 seconds. Shock, disbelief, horror, calculation, despair. Leo, wait. This changes everything. We can cancel the divorce. It was rushed. I was confused, emotional, confused. I looked at her directly. Were you confused when you told me I was a good-for-nothing mediocrity who would never amount to anything? Confused when you decided to sleep with your boss for 6 months? She went pale. Don't talk like that. Like what? With honesty. I thought we agreed to be honest. At that moment, as if the universe had orchestrated the perfect timing, I saw Carla walking into the restaurant. She would be looking for private room 3, but first, she would have to pass by our table in the main area. I waved at her. She recognized me immediately and approached, confused but smiling. Leo, what are you doing here? I thought we were meeting in the private room. My ex-wife looked up, recognizing Carla from the few company dinners we'd attended together. Her face went pale. Carla, I said, standing up. What a coincidence to find you here. Do you know my ex-wife? Carla looked at the table. The divorce papers still visible, the spilled wine, the panicked face of my ex-wife. Her smile slowly faded. Ex-wife? She repeated softly, processing. You just got divorced. Literally 5 minutes ago. Something shifted in Carla's expression. A terrible realization began to form in her eyes. Leo, the message you sent me about our spouses. My ex-wife stiffened. Mrs. Miller, I think there's a misunderstanding. Carla stood still, staring at my ex-wife as if seeing her for the first time. Her hands began to tremble slightly. You, she whispered. She's the reason you called me here. Her eyes filled with tears that she refused to shed. How long? 6 months, I answered. Carla closed her eyes and took a deep breath, fighting to maintain her composure. When she opened them, her expression was devastated but contained. The late nights, the business trips, the calls he'd hang up when I walked in. Her voice cracked slightly. All this time, my ex-wife tried to speak. Carla, I can explain. Explain what? Carla looked at her with a mixture of pain and growing fury. Explain why my children ask why Daddy is never home? She turned to me, her eyes shining with unshed tears. You said you had proof. I have everything, I replied. Messages, photos, plans. My ex-wife clutched the table, desperate.
Leo, please don't do this. The lottery money, we can share it. We can start over. Start over?
I looked at her with disbelief. Seriously, do you think this is about money? It's $7 million. Her voice rose. $7 million! You won the lottery the same day she asked you for a divorce, Carla said, understanding more about the situation and its irony. This very morning I was going to tell her when she handed me the papers. 17 years of marriage, she murmured more to herself. 3 children together, and he threw it all away for this. I want to see that evidence. I want to see everything they've been doing behind my back. My ex-wife looked at me with absolute terror. Leo, I beg you, think about the consequences. You should have thought about that before, I interrupted. I connected my phone to the projector I had prepared. The screen on the wall lit up. Carla, this is going to hurt, but you need to see who you're married to. My ex-wife sprang from the table.
Leo, no! Please, think about what you're doing!
What I'm doing is nothing more than exposing what you did. The first image appeared on the screen. A WhatsApp message from my ex-wife. My idiot husband thinks I'm at yoga. I'm here naked waiting for you. Carla went pale. What is this? It's the truth. I moved to the next screenshot, her husband replying, I love how you moan my name. Much better than when you fake it while pretending to be asleep. Stop! My ex-wife screamed. She tried to grab my phone, but Carla pushed her away. Don't you dare! Carla's eyes were filled with tears, but she kept looking at the screen. I want to see everything. I moved to the photo that hurt me the most. My ex-wife in lingerie in our bed on my birthday. The date was clearly visible. This photo was sent to your husband from my bed on my birthday. Carla gripped the back of her chair. That day, my husband came home late. He said he had an emergency meeting. Yes, a very intimate meeting. At that moment, her husband, Richard, appeared at the restaurant entrance, looking around. He saw us, and his face shifted from relief to absolute terror when he noticed the projection on the wall. He walked towards us as if to the gallows. What's going on here? This is what's happening. Carla pointed to the screen where a message from him now appeared. Tomorrow, I'm gonna ask Carla for a divorce. I can't stand pretending I love her anymore when I only think of you. Ex-wife's name. Carla, can I explain? Richard began. Explain what? Her voice broke. Explain that you've been planning to destroy our family for months? Explain that while I was taking care of your children, you were with this bitch? Don't call me that, my ex-wife murmured, but without conviction. No! What should I call you? Carla turned to her with a terrifying fury. Home wrecker? Or do you simply prefer whore? Richard tried to grab Carla's arm. Honey, let's keep our voices down. People are staring at us. Let them stare! She yelled, violently shaking him off. Let everyone know what kind of man you are! I switched to the next screenshot. Richard telling my ex-wife, Leo is so pathetic. He thinks you're happy with him. If only he knew you fake even your orgasms. Every word was like a slap. My ex-wife covered her face with her hands. Enough, Richard pleaded. This is private information. Private? I looked at him with incredulity. Just like my marriage was private before you destroyed it? I played the audio that shattered me the most. My ex-wife's voice filled the restaurant. It disgusts me when he touches me. I close my eyes and think of you. I can't fake it anymore. I need to be with you. Carla collapsed into her chair, sobbing. 17 years. 17 years of marriage for this? Carla, listen to me, Richard tried, kneeling beside her. It was a mistake, a midlife crisis. You are my wife, the mother of my children. Shut up! She slapped him, the sound echoing through the restaurant. Don't you ever talk to me in your damn life again! My ex-wife finally found her voice. Carla, we didn't want it to be this way. It just happened. It just happened? Carla rose threateningly. 6 months of messages, photos, plans to divorce us. It just happened? Madam, please calm down. A nervous waiter intervened. I am not going to calm down. Carla turned to the entire table. My husband is sleeping with this man's wife. Let the whole world know. Richard's face turned beet red. Carla, please. Please. Please what? Please don't ruin your reputation. How you ruined mine by making me look like an idiot who didn't know what was happening in her own marriage. I showed Carla the final screenshot. The detailed plans of how her husband would ask her for a divorce, how they would divide their assets, and how he would move in with my ex-wife. They had everything planned, I said. They even chose the apartment where they were going to live together. Carla read aloud. Once I'm free of Carla and the kids, we can be free. Just the two of us, without burdens. She looked at her husband with pure hatred. Burdens? Your children are burdens? That I wrote when I was angry. I didn't mean it. Liar, my ex-wife stood up, crying. You told me you wanted to start a new life, that your children were holding you back. Shut your mouth! Richard yelled at her. You've caused enough damage. I caused damage? My ex-wife lunged at him. You promised me we'd get married, that we'd travel. I left my husband for you. Nobody asked you to leave him, Richard retorted. The entire restaurant watched them. Carla approached her husband with deadly calm. I'm 38 years old. I dedicated half my life to this marriage. We raised 3 children together, and you threw it all away for an affair with a hussy. She turned to my ex-wife. And you had a husband who loved you, and you destroyed it for a married man who clearly doesn't value you. My ex-wife looked desperately at me. Leo, we can still fix this. The lottery money. We can be partners. Start over. I looked at her with pity. Partners? 5 hours ago, you told me I was a useless mediocrity, that I would never amount to anything. I was confused. I didn't think clearly. No, you thought perfectly clearly, I countered. You calculated that he would give you a better life than me. The only difference is you didn't know I had just become a millionaire. Carla approached Richard. Tomorrow I'm calling my lawyer. I want a divorce, and I'm taking every last cent. The children will never see you again. Carla, wait! There's nothing to wait for. It's over. She turned to me. Thank you for opening my eyes. I'm going to send these screenshots to his company's HR department first thing tomorrow morning. Richard went pale. What? You can't do that? Of course I can. Code of conduct, remember? Inappropriate relationships with employees. You'll be unemployed before Friday. My ex-wife finally understood the magnitude of the disaster. You're going to lose your job because of her, she retorted to Richard with venom. All of this is your fault. My fault? You were the one who pursued me. You were the one who said you wanted a divorce. I stood up and grabbed my jacket. I think my work here is done. My ex-wife grabbed my arm. Leo, please. I know I messed up, but 7 million. We can live like kings. I looked her in the eyes. 6 hours ago, you chose a married man over your husband. Now that man is going to lose everything, and you're left alone. Without a husband, without a lover, without money, and without a future. Please, I love you. No, you love money. The difference is it's already too late. Carla approached to say goodbye. Leo, I'm sorry you went through this, but thank you for saving me from wasting more years with that jerk. I handed her my card. If you need any statement for the divorce or the company, count on me. I walked out of the restaurant, leaving them in the middle of their self-inflicted hell. Through the glass, I watched them screaming, blaming each other for the disaster they had created. The irony was perfect. She had destroyed my marriage for a man who now hated her and blamed her for his ruin. He had destroyed his own for a woman who now needed him, but whom he despised. I got into my car and drove home with a smile. Tomorrow, my new life would begin with $7 million. Theirs would begin with absolutely nothing. 3 months have passed since that night at the restaurant. Carla followed through on every one of her threats. The divorce was brutal. She took the house, half of everything, and the children barely see their father on weekends. But what really destroyed him was human resources. He was fired a week later for violations of the Code of Conduct and creating a toxic work environment. His career in the industry was over. My ex-wife lost her job the following month. The company didn't want the drama associated with the restaurant scandal because, yes, someone recorded video of the fight, and it went viral on social media. She was marked. The best part is that Richard completely abandoned her. Once she lost her job and became a problem instead of a solution, he cut her off without a second thought. He blocked all contact. She went from having a millionaire husband and a successful lover to being completely alone in less than a week. The messages started on the second day. First on WhatsApp, then calls, then desperate emails. Leo, I made the worst mistake of my life. I didn't know about the money. I swear I love you. Please give me a chance to fix this. I replied to her only once. You made your choice. Now live with the consequences. Not a single cent of my money will ever touch your hands. Goodbye. I blocked her everywhere. 2 weeks ago, she showed up at my new house. Yes, I moved to an exclusive area I only used to dream of. She looked haggard. Leo, please. I'm living on my sister's couch. I have no job, no references. I can't even pay rent. I told her from the doorway, without inviting her in. 7 million is enough for both of us. We can travel, be happy. I think that ship has already sailed. Figure it out yourself, darling. She cried at my doorstep for 20 minutes. I felt pity. What hurts me the most, if I'm honest, isn't the betrayal. It's realizing that she probably never truly loved me. The years of marriage were a lie I couldn't see. That devastates me more than any infidelity, but it also freed me. I bought a house with an ocean view, a car I always wanted, and invested the rest. I'm taking cooking classes, learning photography, traveling. For the first time in years, I'm living for myself. Last night, I received another message from an unknown number. I hate you. You ruined my life. I changed my number the next day. Sometimes I wonder if I was too cruel. Then I remember her exact words. I've wasted enough time with a mediocrity like you. And the feeling passes.
Karma doesn't always come.
But when it does, it comes with interest. Reddit. Did I go too far by exposing them publicly, or did my ex-wife and her boss get exactly what they deserved?